Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Thank you for joining me today on a Monday. Hopefully, you guys had a great Monday. Today, we have a very special guest. You guys know who it is. You guys know who he is. It's the 3D print general.
What's up? I'd be surprised if everybody knows who I am, but that's a pretty cool intro. Thank you.
How you doing, man?
Good, good. How are you doing this? What are we on Monday today?
Yeah, it's a Monday, bro.
Hell yeah. Welcome everybody.
We got DOD, we got Night Customs. Let's see who we got. Donkey Punch. Um,
I was just making sure to retweet it and
Yeah, people start coming in. They kind of usually got used to like my schedule. They know like I always start 5 minutes. I say this time, but it's always 5 minutes before or after. All right,
awesome.
man. Let's get this started, bro. I'm actually very excited to actually have you, man. I know we've been talking about you coming on a show for a bit, and I was trying I was trying to do something where it was gonna be like a podcast, but then I just decided to stick to this. Um, so let the people know who you are. For those that don't know who you are, just give them a little bit of explanation and let them know what you do.
Sure. And yeah, I was excited to actually do this with you. Every time I see your stuff, you always make me laugh. So when we were in like a backstage after one of Ralph's streams, like you were cracking me up. So
Yeah,
yeah, uh I run now two YouTube channels. It was just one, 3D Print General. And I got into 3D printing because I used to work at a 3D print farm that my stepbrother and my best friend ran together. And I was making videos for them, kind of just fun prints and tutorials to help boost their company. They ended up saying, "Hey, we don't want these videos anymore." And so I said, "Well, I'll just make them for myself then." So I started making videos for the 3D Print General,
yeah,
making tutorial videos, and then I decided to write a book just because I knew people who self-published, and it's kind of like you can self-publish and make yourself look like you're a real published author, even though you're just uploading a PDF to
yeah.
Amazon. And so I was looking on Amazon. There wasn't any comprehensive book on 3D printing at the time. There are quite a few now. And so I wrote that book, kept making tutorial videos, and then last year got really into 3D printed guns after hanging out with Control Pew. And yeah, and then I separated my content like 2 weeks ago. So now I have two channels: 3D Print Generals, only 3D printing tutorials and reviews and fun prints, family friendly, advertiser friendly. And now I have the 3D Pew General, which I will be showcasing all my gun builds. And I'm going to be trying to do like one a week. I may not get that much, but that's the goal.
Okay, bro. So yeah, I mean, I remember when I got into 3D printing, I actually found you real quick because at that time you had a lot of tutorials on how to work on your printer, how to fix stuff, and then you had that FGC 91, the one that melted. So I remember you were like one of the first ones to follow. I remember when you come out with that book, bro. I was like, man, this dude is a goat. Like he's like, I was like at awe, bro. Like I was starstruck, right? Um, let's talk about a little bit about how you got into 3D printing. So you said you had a printing farm, right? Like what were you guys printing at that time?
Yeah,
You
so it was my stepbrother and my best friend's company that they started in 2014, and they needed an operations manager, and they needed it to be cheap. So is that is that both of us? Who are you talking to?
I think so. 'Cause you got the dope mustache, bro. My mustache is
uh,
not that.
well, that's all I used to have is the mustache. So my early videos, you'll see just like a handlebar mustache. But
Oh, okay.
uh, yeah, so my stepbrother, and my best friend started the company in 2014. They needed a cheap operations manager. They couldn't afford like a real engineer. I'm not a real engineer, and I was broke and needed a job. And so I came on and literally had no experience with 3D printing at all. But what we used to print was our main clients were boring. Like they just needed 100 electrical enclosures for their items. So, like for instance, one guy would make enclosures for Chromecasts for hotels, and every time he signed a new hotel, he would order 200 units from us to enclose the Chromecast in. And then we had inventors prototyping a design. 99% of the time I was like, this is a dumb invention, but I would print it anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like in charge of around anywhere from 12 to 30 printers, depending on the time. And yeah, I slowly learned from completely no engineering background. I didn't know how to run a 3D printer at all. I did a lot of stupid stuff that the engineers would laugh at me for, and slowly learned. And I realized like I can explain this to somebody in my same shoes who doesn't have an engineering background because I was in the same boat. So
Yeah, man. It's crazy because I had worked with somebody that was doing 3D printing before, and I remember my first project with them was actually grabbing a bunch of Raspberry Pis and soldering an antenna to them. And then the guy was printing the enclosures for the Raspberry Pis. And these Raspberry Pis, for a while, we were connecting them to I think, and San Diego, downtown San Diego has like a small trolley, right?
mm-hmm.
So we were connecting them to the trolleys, and then you could get on your phone and you could watch like a show or a movie, and we were supposed to sell ad revenue through that. So I did. I That's how I kind of knew about 3D printing in the beginning because of
Yeah,
them. And then I just I think I saw a couple videos. I think it was the Liberator one, and then the AWC one, and that's when I actually got more into it. But in reality, JSD was posting a lot about 3D printing, right? And I remember they had kits, and I had bought a kit from JSD, like a P80,
yeah,
and then I started seeing that they're talking about 3D printing. I'm like, why is everybody talking about 3D printing? Because when I heard about it, the machines were like $1,000, right? And then
yeah,
I read Control Pew stuff, and he's like, oh, you could get this machine, blah blah blah. And I go look at it, I'm like, it's like $300. Like that's not even bad, you know. And
yeah.
that's how I got into it. Um, but let's talk about. So then you were doing enclosures and just boring stuff at first. How did the gun part begin? Like, how did that start? How did that kick off?
Yeah, so I've never owned a lot of guns, but I've always been like interested in them, and I've owned like a couple, in the last 15 years or whatever, but nothing crazy. But I wanted to do a video about 3D printed guns because I noticed that no 3D printing channel was covering it at all, and this was 2020, and I printed a bunch of Liberators, and I printed a Songbird, and then I find Control Pew on Twitter, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm printing stuff. I'm printing ancient stuff. These guys are like light years ahead of this. And
Yeah,
so I reached out to Control Pew on Twitter to see if he'd be interested to do an interview for my channel. Just kind of, it was like I called it "Where Are We Now?" Just like explaining the evolution of how we got and where we are now. And that was in 2020. That video got striked on YouTube 2 weeks ago, so that's
damn,
no longer around. But yeah, I just interviewed him, and then I planned on doing something, but I was like, I don't really have $400 to spare on a Glock, so I didn't do anything. And then roughly a year after our interview, he reached out to me saying he was going to be at Bear Arms and Bitcoin in Austin in 2021, and said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming out?" And I was like, "Oh hell yeah, this is going to be like a cool Vice style video." Like I was thinking, we're going to do this, but we're going to sandbag anyone. And so I got my friend who has a really nice camera, and he's good with the camera, and we just went out there and I filmed and I shot. That video is on my new channel. But yeah, I loved it. I shot 24 different 3D printed guns, and I was like, all right, I gotta fucking do this now. And so that's when I decided to build the FGC9. I bought the parts kit like a couple weeks after I was in there, and then from there, now I have 10 3D printed guns. So I've been
damn,
slowly building it up more and more.
that's crazy, man. That's amazing. So when the bug hits you, and then you've been on Twitter for a while, right? And I'm just gonna ask this question, but since you've been on Twitter, has Twitter always been the way it's been, bro?
So I literally never use Twitter for anything other than saying, "Hey, I have a new video. Hey, I have a new video." I honestly didn't use it that much until like 2020 when it was already getting bad.
Yeah,
So I'm sure it was way different, but I honestly was never on it. I had like probably before 3D printed guns, I had like 900 followers. Which is not nothing, but now I
Yeah.
have 15,000. So like those are all, I would be willing to guess the vast majority of those people are 3D printed gun related. But yeah, I'm assuming it was way different. I just wasn't on it ever.
Damn, bro. Okay, so let me ask you this. When you started, when you were doing just 3D print tutorials, stuff like that, no two-way stuff, you had like 900 followers, right?
Yeah,
As soon as
on Twitter.
yeah, as soon as you start doing all your 2A stuff and stuff like that, just blew you out.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the Control Pew when I was hanging out with him and the guys, I was taking pictures of like the table of all they had
Yeah,
like 30 guns or something, and I just tweeted that out, and then he would retweet me, and then he would have me take a stupid picture with like my tongue over the hammer, and then he would tweet that out, and just that interaction gained like doubled my followers. And yeah, and so like I said, the vast majority of the people who follow me now, the vast majority are gun related,
that's
but
cool.
3D printed gun related.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. Do you think that the best way to help each other or at least to grow is by sharing each other's stuff? Or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think the best is share each other's stuff, and then we were talking about this before stream. Try your hardest to stay out of any drama at all. I don't, I may be close with Control Pew and DD guys, but yeah, they banner.
Well,
I
we'll
may
talk
be
about that right now.
yeah, in one sec. Yeah, so yeah, the ATF banner. I was telling, the AFT banner. Actually, I changed that because somebody was telling me that I shouldn't use their name. I don't know, but anyway, I made that because if any of you guys know Shoe on Head, who is just a content creator, she made a banner that said the FBI warns not to follow because she's a dumb bitch, and I stole that idea and decided to do the AFT banner on mine, and now it's kind of like a thing. Most of the gun guys. But yeah, I was saying the best way to really promote, I think all of the drama and beef turns people away. And, like I said, I'm close with the DD guys or Gatalog, whatever they're called now. They're friends of mine. But if Aussie comes out with something cool, I'm gonna print it. If it, I have no beef with anybody. If something's cool, print it, show it off. Don't like take sides. I feel obviously if you're a designer, you're probably falling into one of the camps, but like I think that's the best way to promote it. That's why I think print shoot repeat has brought so many people into this hobby because he doesn't deal with any of that. It's a cool gun. He's going to print it. He's going to talk about it. The Scorpion, the Evo Scorpion was one of his biggest early ones. And, he goes back and forth between designers. He doesn't care. And I think that's the way it should be, where just bring everybody in.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you, bro. I think the more we help each other out, the more we share stuff, and the more we stay away from personal drama, like that's like the best thing to do, right? Because we want more people in this community. Like we want, I mean, I want this community to grow, bro. The more it grows, the more it's gonna be accepted. The more it's accepted, the less stress is gonna be for us. Like
Yep.
me being in California. California is retarded with their laws, bro. But at the same time, I don't print guns anymore, right? I only
Yep.
print like figures and stuff like that, allegedly. Um, but you know what I mean, bro?
Yeah.
The more we get together, the more we share our stuff, the more we are able to promote each other's stuff, and the more
Yep.
we're able to grow as a community.
Yeah, it's like for instance, my 3011. I have an Aussie brace on Ivan's 3011, and it's just like the brace is awesome. I don't, yeah, I think it's just stay out of beefs, promote gun builds, because like I said, it's gonna turn people off if they just see like people arguing.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
So let me ask you a question. Out of all the builds you've built, which one do you favor the most, or which one do you like the most?
yeah. I mean, obviously the FGC 9, I like the most because of what it stands for, where it's like you need no gun parts. Um, it's, you need no gun parts, and it's the coolest. And I think Suckboy Tony's is going to be my new favorite in that regard. But when it comes to actually shooting, so the FGC 9, I've had issues, and I do like it now that it's working. But my favorite to actually shoot was surprisingly the 3011. Even both at the Bear Arms of Bitcoin event and ever since I built it, it shoots well. Like it's a meme gun,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It really does feel good when you're shooting it, and so I actually really like the 3011.
Damn, bro. Yeah, that Sackboy Tony stuff is amazing, bro.
Yeah,
Like it's the future, man. And I don't know if you've seen Crytek is coming out with something similar. I don't know if you've seen it. Like it has a bolt action that's pulled by like electricity or something. I don't know. Have you
you might have
seen
to
it?
send it to me. No,
I'll
I don't
send you
know.
his stuff so you could check it out. He's pretty new also. But there's a lot of people that are coming in the community that have dope ideas. And I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was telling them that the thing about this community is that we have a bunch of different people, bro, from all backgrounds, from all ethnicities. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
But the more people we have, the more that we could look at certain problems with different eyes and
yep,
different opinions. So if we're able to all get together and share each other's ideas and remix stuff and give people credit for what we're remixing, I mean, I think that's the best we could do. Like reach out to the person and say, hey man, is it cool if I remix this? Or make sure you put, hey, this the original is from this person, remixed by me or whatever. We're gonna get more quality stuff. We're gonna get
yep.
more things that are fun to do, fun to print, but at the same time safe.
Yeah, and the way to do that, I mean, and the way to grow it is like what we're talking about. Like, I think print shoot repeat. I'm not joking. He might have brought in half the people in our community by this point. I mean, he
Yeah,
has he's brought so many people in, and because of that, we now. I mean, how many designs do we have because of him bringing people in? You know, it's just grow our community, and like you said, problems will be solved. Like a lot of the guns. So Ivan's clearly a really good designer, but a lot of these people came in with no CAD, no designing background. They taught themselves to make 3D printed guns. So imagine if we bring in the people who have been doing CAD software for 20 years and maybe even worked on guns.
bro, that's what people are not thinking, man.
Yeah, yeah, and somebody who's a professional CAD designer comes in, he's gonna and understands the mechanics really well. We're gonna solve problems. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Like, okay, so there's a couple people that I like the way they do their cat design. One of them is Middleton Made. The way he does the lines on his stuff, bro, is amazing. I don't know if you ever print your 2A his Glock thing, his frame.
I have not. I've only FMDA.
Bro, you gotta print his frame. Like when I
Okay.
printed his frame, bro, like my printer had a messed up belt and it still printed perfectly, bro. Like it was so easy to print.
Yeah.
Uh, Everything came out perfect, bro. I was surprised. Another person that I like their designing and I like the way they're taking it to it is Dervin Poison. I don't know if you heard from him. His aesthetics and the way he's setting up his post are very similar to Minotaur Made, and that's a nice look and feel. But you're right, man. There's a lot of people that just started CAD like recently, and they're getting better. IPS is one of those people. 3102A is another one, and there's more that I probably can't mention because there's so many of us. But
Yeah.
imagine, like you said, getting a professional, bro, a professional that knows everything correctly into this.
Yeah.
There's the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. And it's like just even stuff like Hoffman's young, so I doubt he has been doing it forever, but he's designing parts like I mean he's building in the support so you don't have to worry about supports anymore. You know, just little things that like you
Bro,
factor yeah, there's a lot of designing potential still around.
yeah, like Hoffman stuff comes out so clean, bro. Like there's a couple times I've seen his prints and I'm like, man, like that, like you could hardly see layer lines, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But you're right. Like I think I for a while I was asking people like if they thought that we were in the renaissance of 3D printing two-way stuff, right? A
Yeah.
lot of people were telling me that this is just the beginning. What's your opinion? Do you think we're just starting and there's still more, or
Oh,
you think,
yeah. I mean, well, think like first of all, the FGC 9 was unthinkable in 2013 when the Liberator was coming out because I mean, ECM rifling changed the game, and now look at Suckboy Tony. He's changing the game with the
yeah,
way. I mean, he's making the ammo from scratch, and yeah, I mean, we can't even imagine. the stuff that's going to come. I think we are so early on that this is still like, oh, you're a hero. That's nice of you. I we're so early on that I think that, just imagine, first of all, when printers become even more accessible and even easier to use, like the Bamboo Lab I'm using right now is, I mean, light years ahead of, just all the other printers in my office. Imagine that gets further, we get to the point where it's way easier to print. You have more material selection. And then on top of that, designs that we can't think of. I think we're so early on. It's going to be like kind of laughable in 10 years when we look back at what we were printing.
Okay, so let's talk about that bamboo printer that you have.
Yeah.
What makes it so ahead of most of the printers that you have in your lab?
It's by far the most. I don't have to do anything. It so the most important thing is not the speed, in my opinion, even though it's Voron type speeds.
Mm.
Kind of still beginning. Yeah. Besides the speeds, it that first layer, I have never had a single divot thing, anything. It is a perfect first layer, 100% of the time. You can click print, walk away. It's going to print fine, and it's got so many other features on top of that. It's just well built. It's just everything you want. It's got an app on your phone where if you're out at dinner, you can see your print and pause it. You can it's got everything factored into one machine. Uh,
So
yeah.
pretty much you don't have to use a Raspberry Pi anymore with that.
Oh no, yeah, no, and it's yeah, you don't, not at all. You can either use the slicer itself to control and view the printer with the camera, or an app on your phone. And the software is still being improved upon. But yeah, it's how much does Bamboo Rum? Yes, so Kickstarter, it was a little cheaper, but now the baseline model, which does everything except for, I believe you shouldn't run carbon fiber materials through it because it's not
Oh,
hardened. But the baseline model is $1,000, and that doesn't come with the camera either. But it still prints just as fast as the same first layer shit. The upgraded version where you can print carbon fiber, get a camera, I think that's like 12 or 1300. So I mean, it's I know that sounds a lot when we're talking Ender 3 prices, but when I look back to like we were running Lulzbot machines in my old work, and those were like $3,000,
yeah,
and this printer is, I mean, exponentially better than those machines. So
yeah, man.
$1,000 really isn't bad.
Okay, so the homie I says your review on their support blockers is no small thing.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I'm actually doing. I don't know if this is what he's referring to, but I'm making tutorials for Bamboo Lab. So I mean, it sounds like I'm shilling because I'm
Uh,
technically getting paid. I'm technically getting paid by them
yeah,
to make tutorial videos, but they've told me I could say any negative I want.
bro,
But
that's dope.
yeah, because I mean, they're not paying me to make reviews on my channel. They're paying me to make tutorials for their channel, how to use their slicer. But yeah, it is based on Prusa Slicer, so a lot of the stuff you could do on Bamboo Slicer is similar to Prusa Slicer, but they make support blocking really easy. You don't have to place an object. You could just choose an angle that you don't want it on.
Yeah. No, I mean, Dark is right. Leveling your bed. I think when I started printing, it took me a month to figure out how to level my bed correctly, how to get
Yeah,
everything right. And the thing with me, bro, is that I got all the upgrades right, and I put them all in, and then I realized I ended up buying another Ender two the B3, and that one I left it stock, bro. The stock ran better than the one with the upgrades, man.
yeah, yeah. The first, it is crazy. It seems to be the first layer is the hardest for, I mean, 90% of new people, maybe more. At my old job, we used to repair printers, and so we would charge $50 an hour to repair a printer, and somebody would bring one in. I can't tell you how many times I would just be like, your bed's not level. Like and like I feel bad now. I got to charge you $50 for leveling your bed, but yeah, it really is something that it prevents a lot of new people from getting into the hobby.
Yeah, Donkey Punch says you guys level your bed. IPS
Well, I
doesn't.
don't. The Bamboo Lab, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, IPS doesn't do that because I think he has the Viper, and the Viper has a self leveling bed. And then I was talking to the homie and he got that Sunloop printer, right? I don't know. I think he got it in a special. So Sunloop created a printer, and they're calling it, I guess, like the Ender 3, the Ender V2 whatever the Ender 3 V2 killer. And he sent me videos, bro, like before we got on, and he explained to me all the stuff, man. That thing has so much stuff, bro. Like for the price that he's hopefully he lets me know how his prints came out, and if the prints are coming out nice, I would tell people to buy that one, like beginners. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's actually a few that I'm reviewing right now. Actually, you can see a couple running behind me. I'm
Yeah,
not actually crazy about the ones behind me, but I've gotten a few that I'm really excited about. Sovol, Sovol, is
yeah,
making
I've heard
some.
of
They're making some really good ones. They have an SV05 that I have still in the box, but that's basically an Ender 5 with an upgraded extruder, and it's basically a better Ender 5 for like the same price. And then they have a new one that they're sending me right now. I don't know if it's out yet, but I think it's the SV06. I can't remember the name. And it is exactly like a Prusa, where it looks exactly the same as a Prusa, has all the features of a Prusa, even an all metal hot end, and I think it's only gonna be 250
what,
bucks. So yeah, it's there's a
bro,
lot of new ones coming out for reasonable prices.
bro. I need to write a book, bro. I need to write a book.
Yeah,
I think
I can
writing.
help you.
So, do you think that when you wrote the book, did that put you in another level? Like people started taking you more serious with your stuff, or
Well, yeah. So I'm technically on the fourth edition. I kind of update it every couple of years,
yeah,
but yeah, I a lot of people like it makes you look really professional. But like I said, I'm self-published, so
yeah,
I just go through Amazon. I upload a PDF. You know it takes a little while longer to make the Kindle, but but then your book is listed right next to people like 3D printing for dummies and all of these like well-respected names and publishers, and you wouldn't know that I'm self-published unless you like know what to look for. Amazon Create Space or whatever it's called. Yeah, I think it really did. It's kind of like if you got a Wikipedia page written about you, it's kind of like, oh, now your people respect you more.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like I'm very open with I faked it till I made it. But yeah.
Check it out, bro.
You need to say, there's been a couple. I think Serenity, and then somebody else was. I like said no, I'm not going to sign. Like, why would you want my autograph? Like, it's
Bro,
weird.
because look, think about it. One day, bro. Okay, so I tell a lot of people this. We're getting in this in a great time. That's what people are not realizing.
Yeah,
We're getting it in the start. So imagine in a couple years if we stick to this game and we keep pushing content and we keep doing what we're doing, bro. We're gonna be like rock stars, bro. You
yeah.
know, I mean, I don't want to be a rock star because it comes with a bunch of stuff, but imagine those books are gonna mean something to people, bro. You're gonna
I,
be immortal, bro. Like to be honest, you're gonna be immortal. You're gonna live forever.
well, I will take that. I don't think so, but I will take it. But I agree in a sense that that's the reason I started making this 3D printed gun content. So, when I went to the event with Pew, I was like, why is nobody making videos with 3D printed guns? And there might have been a few that I was missing. And Polymaker, actually, I told them I was going to this event and everything. They said, you should check this guy out. And it was Print, Shoot, Repeat. And he
Oh,
had like 7,000 followers or something at the time, or 7,000 subscribers. And I saw his content and I'm like, this guy's going to be Demolition Ranch big. Like,
yeah,
it's like, he's still small for 300,000 subscribers. He's going to be 10 million. And yeah, I think that there's so many gun creators out there that have millions of followers. It's crazy that there's no one in our community with the same following. So I agree. It's still really early
yeah.
on.
I mean, the way I think that PSR does it is, first of all, the music is
Oh,
amazing,
yeah. Well, he's
right?
phenomenal besides,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's a talented dude, bro.
Yeah.
His music, his videos, and his content are like he dresses up as an old man, bro. He
Yeah.
had that I go brr, something that song. His shit is catchy, bro. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's got it figured out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's going to be massive. And for anybody watching, I'm actually going to have him on 3D Pew General, my gun YouTube channel, for a live stream this Thursday. So if you guys got any questions for him, make sure you join us over there on Thursday.
So you guys make sure you guys go follow him. His stuff is on the description. Make sure you guys check it out. I have his Instagram there and I have his website. So if you guys need anything, go straight to his website. He has his book there. Go get that book. Um, but let's talk about how you. Okay, so I want to kind of know, bro, is did you ever think in a million years that you would start off by just hey, I needed money, let me work with my brother or whatever, and to be where you're at this moment? Did you ever think that?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously not. I didn't know anything about 3D printers when I got hired. And when I say cheap labor, I mean cheap. I was making like $1,400 a month, living in San Diego, and yes, but it was just like I was in between stuff. I mean, we were talking earlier. I used to run a medical marijuana collective. We got shut down by the government,
Oh,
and
what for in San Diego, bro?
yeah, in San Diego in 2010, 2011, I
Yeah,
ran
when
a I ran a medical marijuana collective with my best friend, the guy who started the 3D printing company.
oh
Later, yeah, we were in San Diego. We are actually the third medical marijuana collective in San Diego. There was only two before us.
yeah, because
And
because everything was you would either have to drive to Orange County, Santa Ana. Everybody was in Santa Ana, bro.
yeah,
There was a couple in like Oceanside, I think, in San Juan Capistrano or Mission Viejo, and then I remember there was like only a very limited in San Diego, bro.
yeah, and yeah. So my stepbrothers and they all lived in L.A. And so whenever I visit them in L.A., this whenever I was in L.A., we would go to clubs or whatever, and I would just been like, wow, we're this light years ahead of San Diego, and I was and prices way lower, and
Yes,
so yeah, and so I was just like, dang, we need to do this in San Diego. Like, there's nobody doing it,
bro.
and so yeah, we were the third ones open, and by the time we got shut down, there was 180 of us.
Damn, bro. Bro, I remember I used to drive all the way to LA to the Valley because the Armenians had the game unlocked,
Yeah,
bro. The Armenians were making genetics. Their prices were the best, bro. It was just at that time when you're talking about it, I remember because I was in that scene at that time, and it was amazing, bro. Like it was just another level, you know. But now it just I think it honestly now it's just I think there's too many regulations. Regulations kill shit, bro. In
yeah.
my
Well,
opinion.
and just real quick for any feds listening, I haven't smoked in a couple years. I don't. I own guns. I don't. And I'm being serious about that. I actually quit a few years ago. But yeah, it was a really stressful and a lot of fun at the same time. You know, we were open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So while I was a senior in college,
Damn.
and so I was busy beyond belief. You know, we had like 8 employees. We we were crushing it, but I didn't pay myself until the last month we were open. So I lost money on the whole endeavor because we just kept reinvesting, making sure our investors got paid off. I was just like, you know, whatever. I'm living on student loans right now.
Yeah.
I don't need to get paid yet. Well, let's grow it. And yeah, and we were crushing it near the end. I always say we were selling a pound a day, and we were called Joint Healing. I don't know if there's anything still online left about us, but
Yeah.
we, the city of San Diego decided uh, there's no zone. It was a zoning law that they shut us down on, where they said you're not in the correct zone for this. But there was no zone.
Now,
We were in the industrial area.
yeah.
We were next to warehouses. We were not in residential. We weren't near churches or schools, but there was no zone in San Diego. So they shut us all down, all 180 of us, and they sued us for $25,000 for operating outside of the proper zone. And so it was like, not only did I not make money, I lost a ton of money on it. But yeah, it was. I mean, don't get me wrong; it was a fun experience and taught me a lot. And I learned a lot about random stuff. Like I wanted to make sure to pay our employees well,
Yeah.
so, but I didn't know about payroll taxes. You know, like, so I promised my managers $20 an hour, and then I'm like, oh shit, it's actually 22 an hour. Like, I didn't know about payroll taxes, and just so many things where like, so those first couple months I was like, oh, we're paying people way too much, but we stuck with it. And yeah, like I said, the last couple months we were crushing it, but yeah, I personally didn't make out.
Damn, bro. California is very reckless when it comes to their laws. Like they'll make anything up just to f you over. Um, I have a question, and I mean everybody knows where you live, right? You live in Texas.
Yeah.
Why did you move from California? Like, what was your breaking point where you're like, you know what, I gotta get out of California and I gotta go somewhere else?
Yeah, even though clearly laws and everything were a huge factor, the number one factor for me was money, in the sense of I was dating my girlfriend for a while and we wanted to move in together. You know,
Yeah,
now she's my fiance, but we I was running 3D Print General, but it was small, and it was 2019, and we were looking. We could barely afford a studio apartment, and it was like, where the hell am I going to put printers? Where am I going to work? And so then we started looking, and San Antonio, we found a 3 bedroom, 2 bath with a backyard and a garage for $500 less a month than a studio apartment was.
damn.
And so we were like that. So yes, the politics were a huge thing, but it was like, I mean, we're gonna move, or I'm gonna have roommates for the next 3 years, and we're never gonna live together. So
Yeah, nah, for reals. People don't understand that. If you move into California and the rent you're gonna be paying is gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be a small place. The walls are thin as hell. You could hear everything. The neighbors, especially if you're like living in the bottom and you have neighbors on top, it's crazy. And Texas, you could get a nice house for cheap, bro.
yeah,
And I think
it's gone up a lot, but yeah, it would definitely is still way more reasonable than California.
yeah, bro. Um, so let me ask you a different question, right? You say you got you're with your fiance at the moment. How do you balance printing and content and then spending time with your fiance? Like, how is there any issues with that, or how have you made what do you recommend for certain people?
Yeah, well, I'm in a really fortunate position where the book, YouTube, affiliates, sponsors, they luckily, this is all I do now. So this is all I do now. So luckily, I don't have to worry about it too much. In the sense of, I make my own schedule, and I honestly, like last year, I wasn't working enough. I was taking too much time off. Like, I would stop working at 3 o'clock or whatever, and I was just like, what am I doing? And so I've kind of refocused myself the last few months, and but yeah, I mean, it's honestly not that bad for me, because I'm on a pretty. I've been working it from home for a long time, and so even when I was doing another job after the print company, it was a work from home job, and so it was really tough at the beginning to like have a proper schedule, but now it's really like I wake up, and before, my office was in my bedroom. That was really tough. Like, when you work in your bedroom, it's like you never feel like you're done working.
Uh,
Like, you're always in the same area. So now that I have an office, it's like when I'm in here, I'm working, and then when I'm out there, I'm not in work mode. So, but now I have a pretty strict schedule. I wake up, 8:39, and I go straight, take care of the dog, and then I come in here and I just sit here and I work basically until 5 or 6 every day at a minimum. But yeah, I mean, but that's not bad. I still take weekends off. I
bro,
go to the gun range, but yeah, I take weekends off, and yeah, I'm not too crazy.
that's amazing, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I need to write a book, bro. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and what's surprising, I was talking about self-publishing. You make a lot more from self-publishing than you do with a publisher. Um, like way more per book, like 3 times the amount per book you sell
damn,
than working with a publisher. Now, I'm not in bookstores because I don't have a publisher, but you know, Amazon, you can't tell the difference. And as long as you have a following and you pay for, like, I pay for Amazon ads, it, you know, like, yeah, it works out fine.
yeah, man. Okay, so let's talk let's talk little bit about your work from home. A lot of people have trouble with that because you're at home, so you don't have a schedule, you don't have a set time. You just need to get that work done, and then you'll be good. Do you think that getting together, organizing, making sure that you take time to actually work on your schedule, your houring? Is that actually keeping
Yeah,
you more productive?
yeah. I like I was saying. I think the best thing to do is I now, like I said, I try to make it so I have a 9 to 5. Maybe I start 9:30, or whatever. But I try to make it where I'm 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I very strict, and like I said, one of the best things that happened to me was have a separate area to work in. So when I was working from home in my own bedroom, like I just felt like, I don't know if depressed is the right word, but it was just like I never it
Yeah.
just I didn't feel accomplished at the end of the day, and I also just never felt like separated. So yeah, when I was still in California, we I lived in Riverside for a year with some friends, and they allowed me to use the garage, or I paid for the garage to be my office. And that was the first time I started just like really feeling more comfortable, because it was like I'm in the garage, I'm working, I leave the garage, I chill. So
All
is
right, we
there
got a question for you.
that I mean, there a hope, yes. It's gonna take. I think it's gonna. So I'm a big fan of Odyssey. It seems Rumble's bigger, but I don't like the user interface of Rumble at all. I really like Odyssey. It's really similar to YouTube. Odyssey is definitely my favorite, but it's gonna take big YouTubers connecting their accounts for it to make a difference. Like if we got a PewDiePie, I mean, they don't have to make content for Odyssey. They just need to connect their account, and it'll auto upload for them. And if you've written in your accent, that's fine. Book called Allegedly. That's a good title for you.
For real.
um, yeah, I'm hopeful, but it's going to take, like, so people always tell me, "I'll quit YouTube, just go to these guys," but no, it's bug the big YouTubers. Just link your account. Like I said, it requires no work. You just link your account. It auto does everything for you. And once we get a PewDiePie or a big guy on there, it'll bring over a ton of people just on that.
Is PSR on Odyssey?
He is on Odyssey, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
But
think
I'm
you're right. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think we just need to get somebody that's more home known, like known by regular people.
Yeah, and people outside our community, because like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I can get people who are into 3D printed guns over there, but the vast majority of my views come from people browsing YouTube on the home section.
Yes.
They're not even my subscribers. So
Yeah.
it's those people need to get brought over and start using the browse feature on Odyssey. So
Yeah. Nah, like the thing with the browse feature in Odyssey, bro, is you get some weird content sometimes.
yeah.
Like some crazy content, bro. I remember when I started it, I went in it and I was like, damn, all these conspiracy stuff and politics stuff. I mean, it's cool, you know what I mean? But it's just, I guess it has to get it has to know what you like and stuff like that, so you start getting the stuff you like.
Yeah,
And
and right, and earlier on, up until even now, that's probably the majority of the content, because those are people kicked off of YouTube, so they need to go somewhere else. But
yeah,
if you get people who aren't going to get kicked off of YouTube to upload their stuff anyway, then you'll have more people and more content too. So
yeah. Donkey said, allegedly a story of dyslexia and 3D printing.
that's good.
That's amazing, bro. I'm gonna hire Donkey, bro. He's gonna be my publicist. All right. One more question, bro. Damn, this interview is kind of fast. What do you want to see more in the community? Like in the 3D printing community, what do you want to see more?
uh, I know I definitely like. Uh, I like a lot of it. Like I said, it's probably just you know what I was just talking about, the less infighting and shit. And I don't know that probably the more I think about it, that's probably the number one thing, is just less infighting. If somebody says something that pisses you off, just ignore it. Like whenever somebody makes fun of me or something, I just write LOL. Or like if somebody just like says something that really makes you mad, it's just ignore it. And
Yeah,
because obviously I think we're way too far past repairing rifts. I don't think that's going to necessarily happen. But if you both just ignore each other, like it's going to, like, I can't tell you, every time I see some beef on Twitter, it's just like it annoys me. Like, and I can't imagine if somebody just found a print shoot repeat video and just started going, okay, I'm going to follow these guys, and that's the first things they see. they're just going to be like, well, all right, I'll print some guns, but I don't want to join this weird community.
Yeah, they're
So,
gonna think it's like toxic, and people don't understand that our community is so big, bro. We have it's a melting pot, bro. Like it's truly a melting pot. We got a bunch of femboys, we got a bunch of different cultures, all intertwined in one. Of course, we're gonna have a little bit of drama,
yeah,
but if we learn to respect one another, and like you said, if we learn to not pick up the keyboard at a time of us being mad, put our phone away, go do some other stuff, and then come back. That's
yeah.
gonna help a lot of us, bro.
Yeah, it's like if like I was saying, there's quite a few tankies in our community, and I'm not one, but they follow me and they make guns. I'm all for it, And if they post something that I disagree with politically, I just ignore it. Like why? There's no need for me to reply my how wrong they are. I mean, obviously you do you, whatever you think is right, but I just mean that I don't know. I feel like it's going to turn people off if you just print cool guns, talk about cool guns, share cool guns. You're going to bring more people into the community.
Respect, bro. All right, so we got a question. I don't know. You want to answer this question for him?
Would you test some of my builds? I guess if do I have
Be
hand
careful.
insurance? Do I get hand insurance on those?
Okay, and then we have another question. I seen this too. I sent it to a couple people. Have you seen that they're printing? There's this new nylon that has metal, and it's actually heavier than the other one. I don't know how resistant it is, but he's saying, seen a
Well,
preview of printing metals. What's up with that?
so I don't know about the one you're talking about, but printing metal, I think it's DLSM, direct laser metal sintering. I think is the metal printing one. They it's been around for a little while. It's getting cheaper. There are like printers that are around, I think 10 grand, which is cheap because they normally are like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I don't think it's really something that makes sense for us, at least yet. I don't know if it's ever going to become feasible, just because, first of all, there's a lot of processing. The material costs a lot. The only thing it really makes sense for is really like, let's say you're a car manufacturer and you want to prototype something for your engine. Like, it's going to be worthwhile for you to spend $1,000 on one part.
Yeah,
But like us spending $1,000 to print a Glock frame is just not gonna. And then on top of the cost of the printer itself,
yeah.
so I don't know about the current status of it though. You could print
Uh,
aluminum and steel at the five. Oh, I didn't know that 5K. I
Damn,
guess,
not bad.
but do you still have to center it and everything? I'm not really sure
Yeah.
on how that whole thing works.
And homie, this sounds like a Fed question, bro. Right?
well,
Look,
well, I'll answer it. I mean, there's
go ahead.
nothing that'll entrap me in this one. On a 3D printer, make lower pistols in ARS. Does he mean ABS?
Yeah, probably I don't know what ARS is. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean ABS. I mean, at the end of the day, you can still print ABS on the cheapest of printers, like the Ender 3, which is like a $200 printer. You just need an enclosure for it. So Creality sells tents for their printers. You just need the ambient air when you're printing ABS to be at least 50 degrees Celsius to make sure it doesn't crack or warp. So yeah, I mean, you just buy a $200 printer and a $60 tent, and you should be good to go. I obviously would maybe prefer something nicer, but that's the cheapest you can probably go for printing ABS. String method, but I threw some ammo in it. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and then oh, he said ARs. Yeah, bro. Any
Oh,
printer, any printer.
yeah, they designed these guns for the cheapest printer with the second to cheapest material, which is PLA Pro or PLA Plus, and every printer on the market any FDM printer on the market can print those. So Ender 3 is the cheapest, which is I think you can get the first model for 150 to 180, and then it goes all the way up to like I said, the Bamboo Labs is my favorite printer, and that's $1,000. So, is there anything else you print that tests the capabilities? Guns are evil and I don't want to print them. Well, you can still print anything. I think they're the most practical print you can make, like useful practical print. Obviously, you can print stuff like gears for people make extruders. There's a guy who 3D printed an entire extruder design that's out there right now. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mechanical things you can print with them. It's
Yeah,
just I think it's all boring compared to guns, in my
Yeah,
opinion. But
there's a guy that's working on like he did a battery pack for knobs or nods, right, for night vision,
mhm.
and it's 3D printed, and the way he's doing it is dope. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you could do. You could 3D print keys, you know, if you don't want to make a copy of your key and you just want to use it one time,
Yeah,
you
it's
could.
just so many things though. It's just more practical to buy a regular part. They come into they're most useful when it's a unique part that you don't need, that doesn't exist, that you can't buy, because it's like people like print a, like a whistle or something. What's like, you just go buy a whistle for 50 cents, you don't
Yeah.
need to print it.
So Kurt 24 is asking. I think we kind of answered this question, but I don't know if he was here. He says, "Where do you see printing in 10 years? Just think how much it has happened in the last 2 years. What do you think about printing in 10 years, bro?"
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot. There's a couple things that I think are gonna make the biggest difference. The first is patents expiring, which is the reason that we have printers now that are cheap, because patents expired. Like there was a patent on. I actually have a video coming out right now on this, but
Yeah.
there was the patent by Stratasys, two different patents, one on a fully enclosed printer, which is insane to me. That's why, like, if you bought an enclosed printer 5 years ago, it always had holes, or like the door would have a big old door handle hole, because they couldn't fully enclose it and not uh, breach the patent. That patent's
Mhm.
expired. And then also, like the Bamboo Lab is fully enclosed. Then the other patent that expired by Stratasys was actively heating the chamber, which is insane to me too.
What?
That was patent. So like the only way you could heat the ambient air was through your build plate, unless you bought a Stratasys. And now that patent's expired, so now we're going to have actively heated printers where you print a butt plug, and now I have medical bills. Yeah, you should have done TPU.
Wait,
They So we're going to see, I think, higher temperature material becoming a lot more cost effective. I believe in the next 5 years we'll have a printer that can print PEEK, which is like a super strong material and really heat resistant, but you need ambient air of like 90 degrees Celsius, which is higher than your stepper motors can handle. So you need to do some tinkering or get high temp stepper motors. And I think we're going to see a printer like that in $1,000 to $2,000 range. And then Peak right now is $200 a spool. That
yeah.
price will come down. So that's really exciting. And then the other advancement I think we'll see a lot more on is on slicers, because slicers like are one thing that is really unique to 3D printing. It's the only thing that you only need a slicer for 3D printing. You don't use it for anything else. You don't use it for CNC or anything like that. And I think slicers, I don't know if anybody have seen videos on non-planar printing. That's where it doesn't, like, it can print in like this, So if you watch a video by like Teaching Tech, he tweaked his slicer to be able to do it, where you no longer will see the layer lines then, because it's literally printing along the contours of the print of how you want it. It's a real 3D printer
Man.
rather than printing in 2D, raising up, printing in 2D, raising up. It can print in the entire way. I think slicer advancement and then patents expiring and allowing the masses to finally get access to them.
Okay, so then I was gonna ask you something because, and he brought it up. He says he lives in High Desert by 76 Shop, and he needs a 3D printer. You had issues with some of your prints melting because of the area you live in, right? What would you recommend for people that are in areas with extreme heat? What would be the best type of filament for them to use?
Yeah, so it was really only an issue for like 1 month in Texas. But regardless, at the end of the day, the big parts that don't have a ton of spring pressure, I mean, just your Glock lower, I think you can go into the high heat and shoot your Glock lower without any issues. It's the thinner parts and the parts with a lot of spring pressure that will really give you issues. So, like on my FGC9, the parts that gave me a lot of issue were my fire control group, which I printed, and then also the magazine release tab, which had a
Yeah.
spring on it and it was only this thin. So, for the really bulky parts, your AR lower, I think you could still do PLA plus even in higher temperatures. As long as you're not shooting in 160 degree temperatures, you should still be fine. But ABS is one of the most common materials, but like I said, you do need an enclosure. Other than that, this is a little bit of a hole that I think needs to be filled a little bit, because carbon fiber nylon is the one I've been going towards. You
Yeah.
could print, depending on who you buy from, like if you buy Coex or Polymaker, their carbon fiber nylons can be printed in an open printer. You don't need an enclosure, but you do need a hardened steel nozzle and an all metal hot end. So you do need a little bit better or upgraded Ender 3, but that will be a higher temperature resistant material. I've actually talked to Polymaker. I'm like, do you think it's possible to make a higher temperature resistant PLA Pro? And I think it sounded like it's something that they're working on, but they don't have an answer to. But if we got a PLA Pro that can withstand just an extra 10, 20 degrees Celsius, um, I think that'll be the real winner. But
And then we got a question from Serenity.
so Savior supports that you take off, been developing a new process for you to dive into. Also, if you have all the PLA plus supports, I'll take them. Any improvement, I have all of those. Well, you should have told me. I just threw away like a full trash bag of them. But yeah, I print so much that it's going to be a little annoying to save it in my small office, but I will try to figure it out. I'm assuming the problem with I don't know if you're thinking about like melting it and remaking spools of it. I've heard that it changes the properties of. I don't know. I'm not a materials expert, but I believe it might change the properties of the material a little bit if you melt it and then remelt it. But I'm not sure on that one. Have I done much annealing? I anneal my carbon fiber nylon parts, but that's super simple. That's just literally throw it in your oven at 90 degrees Celsius for 3 hours. It's just to make sure that it releases its stress in a slow manner, but it doesn't necessarily make it. I don't think it makes it that much stronger. I could be wrong. But like PLA, I have minimal experience. I was actually trying to make a 3D printed spring for a Glock magazine just for the hell of it. I know springs are cheap, but I just wanted to see if it was possible. And I was annealing those, and it definitely did make a difference. They only were able to feed three rounds of ammo. I couldn't put more than three in, so I'm still tinkering. But yeah, it's really good. You gotta get salt, put your print in salt so it's like compact around your print, and then I can't remember the exact temperature. It's either 60 degrees Celsius. I can't recall. Some ovens don't even go low enough, but yeah, it does make a difference for specific parts. Like I saw a guy who made a really thick spring, like a compression spring, I think it's called, where it gets pulled back down. And he was making, I can't remember what it was. I saw it on Reddit, and he annealed it, and that shit was strong, really strong. And then you get the added heat resistance too. But
And then she has a question, I guess. How long can they last printed guns? I guess depends on the environment.
yeah, I mean, so I haven't done a proper stress test. I did do a proper stress test on a Glock, but it was printed in ASA and acetone vapor finished, which uh, weakens the part. So it wasn't a good test. And I had the thin part near the end of the inside of the Glock break on me after like 220 rounds or something. But I was rapid firing, mag dumping those things. But like I said, that is 210F for annealing. There you go. Ralph's done quite a few of it, so he would be a better guy to
Yeah.
ask.
So Ralph has a bunch of videos on HT pellet annealing. So if you guys want to
Yeah.
go check it out, go check it out.
Yeah, but if you do it just in normal PLA Pro and you're not mag dumping as many rounds as you can, I mean, it should last for a few thousand rounds. In all honesty, I mean,
Yeah.
what's his name? Print Shoot Repeat just did a video on his MP5 3D printed build, and I think he's put like 800 rounds through it without any issues. Um, so if you follow the build guide and do the material they tell you to print in, not like I did, and it should last over 1,000 rounds. I would believe at least.
All right. And then the last question, guys, because it's already going to be the hour mark. Most important question: rails up or rails down?
Yeah, I'm a Rails up guy because I have unlimited material, so I don't care if I waste material, and I like the inside of the. But I don't know. I have my support dialed in. I've done both. Let's put it that way. I run both ways. So like my shield was rails down. My Glock was rails up. My 43X was rails down. So I swing both ways on that one.
Yeah, man. I there's certain what I do is I read the README file. I know for a lot of stuff that like the Tauruses, the GC3s, and then the 709 Slims, they're always saying to print them rails up. But I do my Glocks rails down. But rails up come out very nice, and you don't have to do a lot of sanding or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah, it's more cosmetic. I feel like when you do rails down, well, because I roll both ways. I do both. Come on, man. I
Yeah,
when you do rails down, though, I mean, there's no doubt about it. The cosmetic look of the gun is going to be better. But like you said, the sanding on the inside of the rails. So like on my main printers that I have dialed, my supports are really dialed in, so I can do rails down no problem. But like so like I'm raving about the Bamboo Lab, but I can't quite get as clean a supports on it as I can with my other printers, just because I think it's printing so fast, and because it's printing so fast, it's at a higher printing temperature, and so it's messing with like what I normally works fine on my other printers is coming out a little uglier on the Bamboo Lab. I'm still honing that in right now, so those I'm doing rails up, but like I said, I kind of have unlimited material, and those printers print. I mean, you could print a Glock frame in like 4 hours, so it's
damn,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's they it prints at 300 millimeters per second and 10,000 acceleration. It's like it's so loud that I'm surprised you guys can't hear it right next to me. But it's they have silent steppers on it, but it doesn't do anything when the it's flying all over the place.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. I usually print my stuff slow, and it takes me about maybe anywhere from 15 to 20 hours sometimes,
Yeah.
depending on what I'm printing, right? That's amazing, bro. 4 hours?
Yeah, and normally I say print slow. I tell everybody print slow.
Yeah.
The reason that you can print fast on this is because they, along with the perfect first bed leveling, they do vibration calibration. So like before the print starts, it like shakes and a bunch of noise, and it's calibrating how much vibration is going on in the machine, and then it does a flow compensation where before every print it lays down a line and goes like super fast and super slow, and it'll take a lidar scanner and scan how much under extruding it's doing when it's like doing quick moves versus stops, and it'll compensate for that when it's doing the quick, because like I said, it's anywhere from 10 to 20,000 millimeters per second squared acceleration, which I have my Ender 3s at 500, so it's massively higher. And
Damn.
so it's literally going from a start stop everywhere, and so it compensates for that. But your Ender 3 is not going to do that. So
All right, man. That's crazy, bro. All right, so is there anything you want to talk about, like promote or anything before we end the show?
no, I mean, just check my 3D Pew General out. I am excited about it. Vetter Holsters is sponsoring me. They sponsored me before I had to switch the channel. I was already making videos for them, and I hadn't released any yet. And I was like, do you mind sticking with me? And so they decided to stick with me, even though these views are like 10 times less than I would be getting on my main channel. So obviously check them out. I don't get any affiliate or anything from them. I just really like that they stuck with me. And then, yeah, the new channel, I'm trying to grow it. I was hoping I could get it to 10,000 subs really quick, but it's proven a little more difficult than I thought. So check
So
that out.
make sure you guys go follow that new channel. Check out his website. Look him up on YouTube. Go follow him. And then one last question. I guess Ron Bear says, will you be doing a speed run Glock to show off how good its speed is? So do you have any videos?
I maybe I will for like an Odyssey thing. I'm afraid to show any gun being printed now on YouTube, just because they're like, I don't want to show any of the building process at all. That's a good idea. I might do that for like an Odyssey exclusive or something.
Yeah,
But
that would be dope, bro. All right, man. And then remember, guys, that he has the interview with.
print, shoot, repeat this Thursday on 3D Pew Channel, 3D Pew General, not 3D Print General. So,
All right, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on my show. And then also thank you for all you've done, bro, for the community.
well, thank you.
All right, man. I'm gonna take you off. Wait for me, and then I'll tell everybody bye.
Cool.
All right, thanks, bro. All right, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure that you guys go check out his stuff. This man has a book. Go show love. Go show support. He's an OG. Like he's been doing this for a while. He has a bunch of dope videos. Go check it out. And I appreciate you guys. Have a great night.